reservations or quotas. In India, we have had this system of providing reservations, reserving seats in educational institutions, and reserving jobs for certain castes. And this has been there for quite a long period of time. This happened because of the unique caste system that India has had, and because of that, there was a lot of repression and oppression of certain sections and castes, economical, social, political repression or oppression. And to address the injustice and to bring them into the to develop them, to uplift them, this system of reservation was brought in. The idea was that since certain sections of society were deprived of opportunities to develop themselves, there should be reservation for them, and eventually, give over a period of time, the injustice, the effects of that, of the injustice that was carried out in the past would be kind of neutralized or eradicated and nullified. So I would say that in my understanding, it was not proposed as a permanent measure. It was supposed to be a time-bound thing, not something that was to be continued forever. It was supposed to be there for some years, and after some years, maybe gradually or in some way or the other, one was supposed to phase it out. That is my understanding. But that doesn't seem to be happening, and the system is continues till date. And in fact, we have more and more demands now. More and more sections of society are demanding reservations in jobs and in education, who didn't have that earlier. And political parties keep on promising that, and it has become more like a marketing tactic of marketing strategy of segmentation and targeting and positioning. So you are segmenting the society, the market, the society is your market, you are segmenting it, and you are providing reservation to one particular segment from which you want votes. So because of this populism and the selfishness of political parties and their own self-interest, they do not seem to be interested in getting out of this. They seem to be perpetuating the system, and the society also wants to perpetuate the system to be perpetuated. And instead of phasing things out, phasing this sort of quota system out, people are more and more people are asking for quotas. And one of the problems, one of the causes is probably that fewer opportunities, a lot of competition. So quotas and reservations seems to be the safer option for many people. That gives them some protection, economic protection, social protection, gives them some opportunity that they would not otherwise get, and all that. So this has become a very vexed issue. It's not a simple issue, of course. And I think because of the political dynamics, it's very difficult for any political party to take any courageous stand here. And it's not about principles, it's about political expediency. So both the sides of the coin, the political parties and the electorate, none of them seems to want to sort out the problem in the interest of the country. Each side is looking out for itself, and I don't think that is good on the whole for the country at large. And simply speaking, I would say that this is in medical terms, reservation or quotas are simply treating symptoms and not causes. You come from a backward caste, or you have been backward for ages. So to address that injustice, and because of that lack of opportunity that you and your forefathers had, you are provided this relief. But that is like treating somebody for a symptom. You have fever and you are given paracetamol. And but the reason was that removing the backwardness, the cause is the backwardness. An individual has to be given special treatment or quotas and reservation because he or she is backward or is coming from a backward section, and there has been ages of repression and all that. So backwardness is the problem, is the disease, and that disease is being treated by the symptomatic medicine called reservation. You are not trying to remove the causes of backwardness. You are simply trying to treat the symptoms of backwardness. You are backward, so what do we do for you? We give you reservation. But how do we make you remove the backwardness? How do we address the basic cause? Nobody is working on that aspect. Reservation is a symptomatic treatment. It is not treating the causes. If you have fever, backwardness is the fever, and you take paracetamol, which is a medicine for fever. But what is causing the fever? What is causing this backwardness, which is old repression, oppression, or whatever? So how do we make sure that backwardness reduces or backwardness goes away, so that people do not require this special treatment or symptomatic treatment or paracetamol? Such that, I mean, people, we should develop people so that they do not require this sops and these kinds of sops, and make them capable, make them competitive, make them competent, make them capable, treat them properly, bring them up properly, have a system in place so that the backwardness is eliminated or reduced. And if the disease of backwardness is reduced or removed, then they wouldn't need this symptomatic treatment, because then you are treating the basic cause of backwardness. Here, nobody is treating the cause of backwardness. We are just treating the symptoms of backwardness. You are backward, and that is simply a symptom. Coming from a particular caste makes you backward. You are automatically backward if you come from a certain section. It is automatic. You are automatically labeled to be a backward class individual if you come from a certain section. So that is more like you are coming from this particular section, so this is your label. So that becomes, this is your symptom. The identity becomes the symptom, and the symptom is treated with this symptomatic treatment. That's not the right way to go about it. Of course, it would be necessary, and it is not that simple to do that. But both the things should have been done. Initially treat them for symptoms, but symptomatic treatment cannot solve the long-term problem. So you should have thought about the long-term problem, or looking at the basic underlying cause and removing it. And once you did that, then the symptomatic treatment would not be necessary. So it's a long-term process. It can't be done overnight, but somebody should have started thinking about it. But now we are not thinking about long-term solutions or treating the cause. We are focusing more and more of symptomatic treatment for more and more sections and more segments. So there is a market segmentation in the marketing terminology. And the principle and the logic has to be the same. Either it is about merit or it is about the other thing, special treatment for weaker sections. If you are talking about merit, then reservation and merit don't go hand in hand. I mean, they are two different different aspects, or different ideologies, let's say, or different concepts. So any reservation of any sort, any quotas, whether it is a caste-based thing or a gender-based thing. So either you are in favor of merit-based system, or this symptomatic treatment-based system of giving quotas. So then, of course, you cannot, then logic has to be the same in any case, in all the cases. Somebody can't say that I oppose reservation based on caste, but I favor reservation based on gender. So if somebody wants reservation for women, for example, but is opposed to reservation for a caste-based reservation, then the logic doesn't work. I mean, either you are for all kinds of reservation or you are against all kinds of reservation. How can you favor one kind of reservation and oppose the other kind of reservation? The logic doesn't hold. So all kinds of reservation or quotas, basically, which are different from the idea of people getting things based on merit, is what is the issue at stake. And as I said, this is a complicated issue. There are no simple quick fixes or easy solutions. But to me, reservation or giving quotas or giving reservations is like treating the symptoms rather than the cause of the disease. We are just treating the symptoms of the disease. We are not treating the disease itself. And nobody seems to be doing it. And we are focusing more and more of providing symptomatic treatment to more and more sections of societies based on various kinds of segmentation exercises, gender based or caste based, and all sorts of things. And all sections and all segments are asking for and clamoring for reservation. So this is not a good sign, and that is simply because political parties want to win votes. So divide and conquer, or segmentation, targeting, positioning, and basically that is the strategy that they are following. And sections of electorate are not interested in the country, but they are interested in getting special treatments for their own segment. So everybody is the thinking is dictated by narrow selfishness, essentially. It is not something that is, nobody is thinking holistically for the country or for the society at large, and everybody is looking out for himself, for number one. So this is the problem. It's a problem that needs to be looked at by everybody concerned. Symptomatic treatment would have to continue, but at the same time, one should start thinking about how to treat the cause of the disease, so that eventually this temporary, what was supposed to be the temporary solution, one could get out of it eventually. I don't know what would be the time frame or what would be the timeline of something like that, but I'm sure that it was meant, or I'm quite positive that it was meant as a time bound, deadline based, or a temporary solution, not a permanent solution. So one can't stop it. One would need to provide this temporary symptomatic relief, but one would have to start working on addressing the causes, so that eventually one could phase out gradually or over a period of time or in some way or the other, and we move towards a more merit based thing, which makes logical sense. I mean, if people are competent and capable, then they don't need special treatments and quotas and SOPs. They need it because they are weak. And why? So strengthen them, essentially work on strengthening them, so that you don't sacrifice merit. And this applies to all segments, all castes, whether it is caste based, whether it is gender based, or whatever. So the logical flaw here is treating the symptom and not the cause, and nobody has thought about or has had the time or energy or patience to think about it. Everybody is looking at these quick fixes and short term solutions, and maybe perpetuating them, or at least promising that we'll provide reservations. Then there are legal issues of how much you can provide and all that. But political parties keep on promising reservations. They don't, nobody wants to, very rarely they have the courage to do the opposite, or they want to provide reservations not to some section but to the other section and all that. So it is all about the segments that you are catering to. But a principled stand needs to be taken in the interest of the country, and keeping in mind that it is not an easy thing. It is not a simple thing. It is a complex thing. When it was introduced, it was necessary, it is still necessary. You can't simply pull the plug on anything like this. It has to be done carefully, gradually. Timeline is difficult to work out at this point of time. I mean, once somebody works on this, then something can be said about it. So that's an important issue that is plaguing this country, and it's a unique problem as far as India is concerned. This is a special problem that India has been facing, and some sections are benefiting and some sections are suffering because of this. So there is resentment in the society, which is also not good for the country. So this kind of internal friction and resentment, it builds because of discrimination, positive discrimination, or any kind of discrimination based on caste or whatever it is kind of creating some sort of imbalance, and one needs to look at addressing this. Thank you.